Hello everybody! This week we are back in Emerald and with a green Pokemon nonetheless. I want to start things off with a question. Have you ever used kecleon? Me and a friend of mine would never used it, at least not in the main franchise. I got him in a Pokemon Explorers of the Sky after a whole day of attempts. I think it's because he is kinda hard to find and his not great stats don't really encourage anyone. He is very unique though. No other Pokemon has his ability. Unfortunately, that one too is not the best. Let's get over the rules. As usual, I can only use Kecleon in combat, I can't use any items in combat, I can't use any move that boosts evasion, and I will not use any cheats or glitches. I should probably address the huge elephant in the right side of the room. Kecleon's move pool is super vast, but for some cruel twist of fate, he gets no boosting moves. I was expecting to be able to use either Pull Cap or Calm Mind, but that is not the case. If memory serves me right, Kecleon is the first Pokemon I use that starts with 4 moves. Unfortunately, they are not great, so I'll use Scratch most of the time. May was easy, and the same can be said for the ground in the forest. Since Kecleon has a medium slow growth rate, he levels up quite fast at the start of the game. I know that's counterintuitive, but it's how it works. Thankfully, he learned Feint Attack before Roxanne, so I can actually deal some damage to her instead of tickling her Pokémons with Scratch. Even with a special move, this fight was harder than I expected. Kecleon has quite poor special attack, so my moves don't do a lot of damage, and he also has meh physical defense, so their moves do decent damage to me. At least once they hit me, I am going to resist their next moves, since I am going to turn into the thing from Fantastic Four. Also, since we are here, real life disproved Pokemon, since I fired damaged the Easter Island heads. To be fair, they did not blow up, so maybe the type chart can stand for a while longer. This time, after I defeated Roxanne, I decided to not include the second encounter with the Team Aqua Grant, F's in the chat for Pico, and go straight to the optional fight against May. As usual, her team is not very good unless you chose Torchic, so even if I am not able to one-shot all her Pokémons, the fight is quite easy. I could have used Psybeam, since it has a slightly higher base power, they would still be 2 hits each. You would expect me to skip Brawly, since he is super effective on me, but since we just learned a psychic move, I don't think he will be a problem. Meditite leaves a hit, but only has Focus Punch, so he is not a problem. His ace Makuhita might be thick, but brains win over bronze, so he is dead too. Easy second badge, and from here we can move on to the next fight against Team Aqua. This time they want to steal some parts for a submarine, which is more of a Team Rocket thing to do. That is not the only thing they have in common, since their grunts are very weak too. I have to use Scratch since my other moves are all resisted or ignored by the Carvanas, but since they are super frail, they die in one hit anyway. Once we have completed their humiliation, we have to do the May 2 fight. She is quite a bit stronger this time, but thanks to our somewhat high level, she is not that big of a threat. With just a couple of hits each, all of her Pokémons go down to Kecleon's might. Having defeated their rival, it's time to grind a bit, because the next fight will not be easy. I could have gotten flamethrower from the casino, but decided against it. Watson was an interesting fight. I have learned Slash, which is a good move, but they can remove stab if they hit me with an electric move. Magneton, of course, resists it, so it takes a while to take him down, and I'm surprised that he did not use Thunder Wave, but instead spammed Shockwave. It's a very close fight, but Slash's increased crit rate comes in clutch. The Manectric looks like a 3-shot, but then he quick attacks me, giving me back stab, and I take it out on the second turn. That was very fortunate. The next major fight is against Maxi on top of the volcano, and he managed to defeat me once, but only because of a burn followed by a crit. The second attempt goes a bit better. Because of the Intimidate, I don't have enough to one-shot the Mytiena, so he throws some sand in my eyes. I should have switched to Shockwave, but instead kept marching forward with Slash. I miss a good number of times, so I finally decided to switch. Unfortunately, I can't keep using Shockwave for the Camerapt. I got a bit lucky with a confusion from Psybeam, but he completely ignored it. A good AI could have used Ember and then Magnitude to get the super effective, but instead I get the win. The next gym leader is Flannery, and I was not looking forward to her. I clearly don't have enough damage, so I'll have to take a few overhits. Because of that, I lose a few times against her until I got a bit more lucky. Another problem that I always underestimate with this fight is Attract. Both her camera and Torkoal know it, and if you have a male Pokemon, prepare to spend 70% of your turns doing nothing. This time the Torkoal instead started spamming Body Slam. I think she was looking for the paralysis to make me slower than her, but she never got it, so after a few more turns I took out the tortoise and got the badge. That could have been much worse. The next gym is the normal one, headed by Norman. I expected him to be hard, since most of the time Flannery and him are about on the same level. Wisely, I used special moves so that Slacking could not use counter on me. This way, he took a bit longer, but it was very safe. A crit from Slash finished the Sasquatch, and from here, even if the rest of the team can do some damage to me, they don't have enough fuel left in the tank to finish me. Lainoon brings me down to about half HP, but then gets defeated, so this badge is mine too. From here, we get the Surf HM as usual and have to make our way to the May 3 fight. In the meantime, I updated my moveset to include the good special moves that I will use for the rest of the game. With these new powerful moves, the May fight is not very hard, even if I'm not super effective on most of her team. The Lombre flinches me because he loves to waste my time, but he soon goes down too. Once May flees, I have to take on the Flying Gym. This time I'm very confident in my odds, since I have a move for every single one of Winona's Pokémons. There is not much to say about the fight. I just have to use the appropriate move each time, and her Pokémons will all get KO'd before they even have the time to lay a finger on me. And so, with a very clean sweep, we have conquered another of Hoenn's gym. I then decided to do the optional fight with May in front of them all in Lilycove. This time it's just to humiliate her. I did not even step foot inside of the shopping center. Her team keeps being underwhelming. I misclicked against the combustion, but it does not matter as he does little damage to me. The rest of her team takes a little longer because they like to stall me and or they are kinda tanky, but eventually they get defeated too, so we can say goodbye to our rival. From here, I grabbed the magma emblem in Mount Pyre and also snatched the Shadow Ball TM. Next, I had to face Maxi again when he wakes up Groudon. He again took me out once, but that's about it. The Mightyena this time goes for a scary face to slow me down. Crobat, who would have outsped me anyway, confuses me, and opposite to tradition, I don't hit myself. Camerupt is not a problem, especially because I get a crit to destroy him. Next is a time to do some grinding because I have to face the two demonic twins, Tate and Liza. Again, I was expecting to lose a few times, but instead it was a clown fiesta. I missed the kill on Claydol by a sliver, so next turn I try killing Xatu, but he uses Calm Mind, so I missed the KO on him too. I kept the pressure on Xatu, and thanks to a crit, the bird goes down. From here, I decided to ignore the Claydol because I could not take it out in one hit and focused Solrock and then Luraton. Those guys are a one hit with Shadow Ball. Once it is alone, I can finish off the Claydol too. Ultimately, it was quite close, but I got the win nonetheless. I mean, as soon as they stop portioning it, please. After we defeated the twins, we got their badge and had to do the next double fight with the real champion Steven. This one is going to be easier since it's not a 2v1. By the way, this is going to be either the video just before or just after Halloween, so happy Halloween! Personally, I don't like it because I hate to go around in costume, but to each their preference. Feel free to write down in the comments what your costume is going to be, or if you agree with me that Halloween sucks. After the gym, I forgot to equip another citrus berry to kecleon. This could be bad if Team Magma's Pokémons focus on me, but the AI is not very good, so generally they will not do that. So I managed to survive the fight, and in a couple more turns it's over. Once we have dealt with Maxi and his general guy, we get the dive HM from Steven as a reward, and we have to reach Archie down below the waves to stop him from reviving Kyogre. His team is nothing to write home about. I have Thunderbolt, which is an extremely good move against him. His lead leaves a hit, but the rest of the team does not. I take some damage, but I don't even get close to dying. After we defeated him, the usual sequence of events starts. The red orb activates and wakes up Kyogre, so we have to climb the sky pillar to wake up Rayquaza, this time without any orb, so that the ruler of the sky can stop the other two legendaries before they destroy the region and the rest of the world. Up next is time to defeat the last gym. For Juan, I can mostly spam Thunderbolt. His team is quite weak to it. The only one who isn't is Whiscash, but I can use a couple of Ice Beams to defeat it. The only other possible problem is the Kintra, since I definitely cannot one-shot it. After we took care of the rest of the team, the stupid seahorse comes out, and here the mess begins. It goes for double team strats. Then I get frozen, but break out immediately. At least now I have a stab, but I still miss a bit until eventually I can finish it off. It took a while, but now we have all 8 of the badges. Next, we have to go through the Victory Road, but here we meet Wally. This time his team is not a problem. I have a very diverse moveset that can take care of most of his Pokémons. Strangely enough, the only thing that does not die in one hit is the Delcatty. She assists a Dragon Breath. Thankfully I don't get paralyzed, and now I resist most types, but it's not going to matter in the rest of the fight. It takes a while, but I reach his ace Gardevoir, who is somehow surprisingly a one-tap with Shadow Ball. With no more obstacles between us and the league, it's time to start it. The first member is Sidney, and this time he was not a problem. Our special attack stat, combined with the good base power of our special moves, is enough to one-shot all of his team, be it super effective or not. It was kinda surprising since kecleon's base special attack is not very high, but I'm glad I did not have to deal with RNG. Next, we have to take on Pheobe. This fight could be hard if the first Dusclops has the time to use Curse, but Shadow Ball is strong enough to one-shot it. At this point, I thought it was over, but Sableye comes out to prove me wrong. First he leaves and double teams, then dodges and turns me into Dark type with a Feint attack, then into Ghost type with a Nightshade, and only then he chunks me with a super effective Shadow Ball. I am not sure if that was a coincidence, but if it was not, I have to rethink everything about Phoebe's AI. She would be the smartest trainer in the game by a mile. At least I can rest easy knowing that Glacia did not stand a chance. I can deal with her entire team with just 2 moves. Knowing that, she maximizes my annoyance by making me switch moves every turn. I have to do it because Flamethrower against the Celio does no damage, thanks to their thick, fatty blubber. Talking about thick, Walrein leaves a hit, so now we have to do the usual full restore dance. This goes on for quite a few turns, but eventually she runs out of heals, so I can move on. The last Elite Four is Drake, and I have Ice Beam to defeat most of his Pokémons. This fight turned out to be harder than I expected because I'm too slow. I have not mentioned it yet, but kecleon's base speed is only 40, which is nothing. Before using him, I thought it was at least 60. Kingdra hits me, but no paralysis. The Flygon crits me, which brings me low, and I thought the Salamence would finish me off. Somehow, someway, kecleon hangs on with just 10 HP and can counterattack with an Ice Beam to get the kill. Since I have Thunderbolt, Wallace is going to be easy, right? Well, not so fast. While Thunderbolt helps a lot with his team, the Ludicolo was a problem as he leech-seeded me every time. Ultimately, I did not lose that many times, but most of the losses are here, so it still stings. I need the Pecha Berry to stop Toxic. Tentacruel uses Sludge Bomb instead, which is worst, because now I'm Poison type. Gyarados has Earthquake, but does not get to use it. The Catfish is another story though. It is very tanky, so I was looking for a special defense drop, but instead I got a crit. The Ludicolo is also quite tanky, so I can't take it down before he seeds me this time too. Unlike the previous fights, I have a lot more HP because of the crit, so even if my health is being drained away, I can still win. Thunderbolt does not look like a 2-hit after seeds, but thanks to min-max damage roll, it actually is, so I can finish the game once and for all. Thank you for watching. I hope you liked the video. Please like and subscribe and also ring the bell because YouTube is weird like that. And why not leave a comment down below? Give me video ideas and I might do them in the future. See you next week. Bye!